Yeah, that's really how I'm feeling right now. Just to work on myself and things like that. Try to better myself as a person, as a dad.
Has officially announced his retirement, right? He told the people around him that he is retiring from the sport of boxing. He is no longer going to compete in the sport of boxing due to his frustration with the way and the direction the sport of boxing is going in.
Whatever, I don't know. Maybe this could be the reason why Tank say he want to leave boxing. He gonna, tap out, stuff like that. He still hasn't fought Devin Haney.
Gervonta "Tank" Davis has finally addressed why he's stepping away from boxing, revealing that life in the spotlight has become exhausting. According to Davis, every statement he makes gets twisted, every move is scrutinized, and he no longer feels free to be himself. He admitted that the passion he once had for boxing has faded, describing the sport as something that no longer motivates him, which ultimately led him to make the difficult decision to retire.
How I'm feeling right now, just to work on myself and things like that. Try to better myself as a person, as a dad, all around, human being.
Yeah. Is it the fame? Is it something that you just don't like all the attention? Or
yeah, I'm starting to shy away from the attention and things like that come with it.
Yeah, because it's like anything you do or say, it's all over the blogs. It's taken the wrong way. It's getting posted.
Yeah.
Like you can't even be yourself at this point.
Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah, it's getting more so light.
Those close to Davis suggested his frustration goes far beyond what happens inside the ropes. His camp says the ongoing pressure surrounding a legal matter involving the mother of his children has weighed heavily on him. With uncertainty hanging over the case, the emotional burden has reportedly taken a significant toll. Combined with the constant demands of being a top athlete, those challenges appear to have pushed him further away from the sport and played a major role in his decision to step back.
Sure, by now, many people have heard about the news that was broken by Rick Glazier, who stated that 5-time world champion, 3-division world champion, undefeated superstar boxer, Gervonta "Tank" Davis, 30 wins, no loss, no draw, 28 wins by way of knockout. 30 wins, no losses, 1 draw, 28 wins by way of knockout, has officially announced his retirement, right? He told the people around him that he is retiring from the sport of boxing. He is no longer going to compete in the sport of boxing due to his frustration with the way and the direction the sport of boxing is going in.
Once Davis made his retirement announcement public, the boxing world reacted almost immediately. The news spread rapidly across social media after several major boxing outlets shared his comments, sparking widespread debate among fans and analysts. While many were stunned by the announcement, others believe it reflects the enormous pressure Davis has been carrying both personally and professionally. According to Blue Blood Sports TV, this may not necessarily be the final chapter of his career. The analyst suggested that Davis is dealing with several issues at once, which could explain why he chose to announce his retirement now. One theory is that he's less interested in a rematch with Lamont Roach and more interested in pursuing a much bigger financial opportunity, potentially against Jake Paul on Netflix, rather than continuing under his current promotional situation. Because Davis has hinted at retirement before, some believe this latest announcement could also be part of a larger strategy rather than a permanent goodbye.
He was retiring. No. Has he told people this? Yes. But this is nothing new. I told you the Lamont Roach Jr. fight was off. It was going to take place in June. He was not happy with the way things were playing out. He wanted to get to that Jake Paul bag with Netflix. That has nothing to do with Amazon. Jake Paul is in charge in that situation and gonna put that money in Tank Davis's pocket. I told you guys this. But you guys don't believe me. You always love to say I'm capping or hating on Tank Davis. No, just telling you what's going on behind the scenes. Gervonta "Tank" Davis is not going to retire. He's frustrated. He may step away from the sport of boxing for a while. But again, he was already planning to do that.
Even with all the speculation surrounding his future, Davis has publicly stated that he is stepping away from professional boxing. Whether this decision becomes a permanent retirement or simply a temporary break remains uncertain. For the moment, however, he appears committed to putting his boxing career on hold while he focuses on other priorities.
Retired? Superstar and legendary knockout artist Tank Davis has officially retired. Or so he claims. Tank Davis has had one of the hardest 18 months in boxing. See, first he just got out of prison. Then he had a fight with Lamont Roach that should have been a pushover, which afterwards he was going to negotiate a huge money fight with Jake Paul. But Lamont Roach had a great game plan and they ended up having a draw that Lamont Roach probably should have won. It was a controversial no knockdown call. But now Gervonta Davis is once again facing jail time after some domestic abuse charges. So I really think this is temporary. He's probably just retiring for now, especially with all the legal fees this man's gonna need. Part of this is probably to avoid the Lamont Roach rematch and push that off if he can. But really, most of this is probably so he can focus on his legal issues. And then after all that is wrapped up, he's gonna get back into boxing. Boxers do fake retirements. It's just what they do. Especially after disappointing fights and doing legal trouble. Tyson Fury's in the middle of a fake retirement right now. So yeah, what do you guys think? Do you think he's really retired for good? Let me know.
The retirement announcement quickly became one of the biggest stories in the sport, with major boxing media outlets, including Bleacher Report, highlighting Davis's comments and fueling even more discussion about what comes next. The idea of retirement isn't something Davis suddenly introduced. For well over a year, he has repeatedly spoken about growing tired of everything that comes with being a professional fighter. He has often mentioned the emotional strain, personal challenges, and relentless pressure that accompany life at the highest level. More recently, he even suggested that fighting is no longer on his mind at all, saying he doesn't feel the same fire or anger that once drove him. Former world champion Antonio Tarver weighed in by expressing concern for Davis, explaining that talent alone isn't enough to guarantee success without maturity and proper guidance. Tarver believes many young fighters struggle because they lack strong mentorship, and he sees Davis's situation as part of a much larger issue facing the sport.
Right here in New York City, man. Always showing love. All right, so Jay Martinez with Fight Hoop TV. So happy to see you once again. The biggest talk, let's jump into it. Obviously, we got a good weigh-in here in a moment.
Yes.
We got some good presser after this. The biggest talk that just happened moments ago, Gervonta Davis, jump into it. Kind of, I wouldn't say it's a big shock to a lot of us, but, there's this mindset, the fight with Lamont's not signed yet. Apparently, he's going to fight Jake Paul. Like, it's put it in and out of boxing right now.
Hey, man, I don't know, but, get these guys the bag so they can get the hell on if they not committed and dedicated to the sport. All they want is a bag. Give them a bag so they can go, bro. I mean, let these fighters that really want the shit, let's parade them. Let's get behind them. Let's support them. Let's build them. I'm not saying I don't know what happened. But I just hope and pray that young man get it together. He's at the top of his career, prime of his career. I would want him to be remembered more by the things that he's doing in the ring rather than out. But, sometimes you got to win in life, too, before you can get in that ring and win. And sometimes life is harder than any opponent that we could face. And I just hope he get it together, bro. I feel like a lot of these young men don't have no mentors, bro. It ain't no more handlers in the game, bro. It ain't nobody taking care of the camp. These guys out here on their own frequency, bro. And I just think there's no more leaders in the game, bro. They not going to where that real energy is that can really humble these guys a little bit. We only got a short period of time to be professional boxers. This shit is over quick, bro. And you don't ever want to live with no regrets.
Bernard Hopkins also shared his perspective, encouraging Davis to focus on resolving his legal matters and strengthening his relationship with his family. Hopkins emphasized that making peace in his personal life should come before anything else. He believes that by regaining stability away from boxing, Davis could eventually put himself in a better position to rebuild both his career and his future.
Bernard Hopkins. Bernard, first of all, good to see you, my man.
Good to see you again. Yes,
good
sir.
to see you.
Yes, sir.
Hey, there's a lot to talk
about. My second home, brother.
I'm starting to say the same thing because I'm here almost all the time.
In and out.
Bernard, a lot to talk about. Let's jump into it real quick.
Come on.
I'm sure you saw the news about Gervonta Davis being arrested once again. Just give me your thoughts,
Unfortunately, man, I hope he come out. Everybody else come out. I'm not with the domestic violence thing, man, but I hope that, he get that straightened out and he get back to focus on his family and his career. Family first, and then career second. But I just wish both his ex-girl, his kid's mother, you know what I mean, can get things together and look forward and be positive going forward.
Bernard, you think his head, is there right now with boxing? Do you think he just needs another mentor? What does he need? Because he's a great talent.
I don't know, and I don't know him.
Davis has also spoken openly about the life he wants beyond boxing. He admitted that years spent chasing success often pulled him away from the people who matter most, especially his daughter and his loved ones. Now he says his priority is becoming a more present father and a better person overall. A willingness to seek support and invest more time in his family suggests he's focusing on personal growth just as much as professional success.
I was doing boxing back with a gym. Checked out the press conference yesterday. Watched the Rise podcast. 2 days ago, watched the Rise podcast response to it yesterday. And I just have to say, I see a lot of people think that, Tank is bluffing with the retirement talk. Could be. I doubt it, though, and I'm going to tell you why I doubt it. When he talked about wanting to seek therapy and the person he has to be in order to be the fighter that he is and wanting to be a softer person, for his daughters and wanting to seek therapy and become a better person and be with his children and lead a limelight, it seemed like a lot of emotion and passion in that. He seemed like he really meant what he was saying. There's a lot that comes with not only boxing, because, all fighters deal with certain things with being a boxer, physically and mentally. But he has to deal with being a celebrity, an international star on top of that. And I can't even imagine that pressure. So, things get old, your whole life gets scrutinized. No matter what moves he makes, it's going to be accepted by.
The timing of this retirement announcement has only intensified speculation. It came shortly after new legal complications surfaced, and just as discussions about a possible rematch with Lamont Roach were gaining momentum. Following those developments, Davis confirmed that he was stepping away from the sport. After years of carrying expectations while dealing with repeated personal challenges, he appears ready to search for peace outside the boxing ring.
Looked at him and I asked him to help me, and he looked at me and he turned his head, jumped out of the car and ran, or whatever the case may be. So he has a history of doing things like this to women. Like facts. Whether you like it or not, whether you're a Tank Davis fan or not, you can't get around that. That's the truth. So now, what's going to happen with the Lamont Roach fight? And better yet, what's going to happen? Will that fight still go on? I don't know. They haven't made an official announcement yet. We know the fight is scheduled for next month, August, but it hasn't officially been announced yet. And we do know if that fight is announced, PBC will have reporters there to tell those reporters, look, if you want to have access to Gervonta Tank Davis, you better not ask him certain questions. This is what goes on in the media. See, a lot of these guys, they want access to the fighters, so they have to play ball. They have to go along with the get along just so they can get access to interview the fighter. Coach Malachi, I don't give a fuck about the access. Fuck having access to the fighter. I only fuck with those who fuck with me. If you're a fighter who fuck with me, I'll fuck with you. And then, we can do an interview. That's fine. I have no problem with it because I got love for you like that and vice versa. But if it's a fighter that don't like you or don't like me or whatever the case may be, I don't give a fuck. I don't try to fit in, in the square circles. If it's a square circle, you know what I mean? If it's a square in a circle, I don't try to fit in with squares. And if you ain't in the circle, I ain't trying to get in the circle. Do you get what I'm saying? So, of course, these reporters, that's what they're going to do. So now, as it relates to Lamont Roach,
many voices throughout boxing have responded with understanding rather than criticism. Commentators recognize the mental and physical demands that come with competing at the elite level, particularly for someone who has lived under constant public attention since a young age. Some believe that if Davis no longer has the desire to compete, taking time away is the healthiest choice. In their view, leaving the sport on his own terms is far better than continuing without the passion that once made him one of boxing's biggest attractions.
And some people grow tired of it. Living a public life ain't for everybody. He's been tremendously successful, whatever he decides to do. I wish him well. I think we need to, watch this Lamont Roach fight closely because we've seen this in the past when Mike Tyson talked about his heart no longer being in it, or, you heard Buddy McGirt recently come out and say, the fire left him, while he was in camp in the middle of a run. I mean, it happens, and, we don't know how it's going to affect him as a fighter. I would hope, he could find it in himself to be motivated and get prepared, and be the best version of himself. Because, as a Tank fan, I don't want to see him in a ring in any other capacity. If he can't bring himself to be the best version of himself, then I think he should walk away. But regardless of what he decides to do, for people like myself, I've had a great time, watching his career. I wish him the best in his personal life. He didn't say he's retiring immediately. He just said he's going to fight 3 times in 2025, and then it'll be over. Whoever those 3 fights he chooses to fight, we have to respect it. And I would just say, enjoy him while he's here, because, everybody in sports, whether it's boxing or otherwise, is only going to be active for a certain amount of time. And once it's over, it's over. So instead of, Monday morning quarterbacking, ridiculing, or criticizing, I think he's been a very special talent, and we need to enjoy him while he's here, because the end may be really near, according to what he's saying. That's all I have for y'all right now. Until next time, keep your hands up, your chin down, your ass off the floor.
There's also growing belief within the boxing community that this could become a defining moment in Davis's life. A break from the spotlight may give him the opportunity to reassess his priorities, improve his personal well-being, and make better decisions moving forward. Stepping away from the constant pressure could provide the stability needed to rebuild both his life and his future.
Therapy, right? But I feel as though if I do therapy, it will lose the fire that I have inside me. I want everything out of me, West, so I don't never think about fighting again. I don't think about even getting angry, you know what I mean? Because I have 2 girls, 2 daughters. I'm wanting to be much softer, you know what I mean? Be more humble and things like.
Shout out to Tank Davis saying that he's going to go to therapy because he wants to soften up for his daughters and he wants to let go of the anger. And yes, although maybe the anger served him in his boxing career, it's not currently serving him now at the moment being the father. So shout out for Tank Davis. That's a real man. A real man is willing to be gentle in a tough, cruel world, right? It doesn't take much for us to be angry in the angry world. It takes a lot of courage for us to soften up and shine our light, whereas we've been maybe in darkness our whole lives, or maybe our darkness got us to success, right? So like Tank Davis obviously became successful, put in the anger towards boxing, but now he's on this next level of life and stepping into his therapy era, which I love to see. So shout out to Tank Davis for stepping into your healing era. Let's go.
Throughout his career, Davis has repeatedly found himself dealing with legal issues, often managing to move beyond them. However, many observers believe the recurring nature of these situations points to deeper personal struggles that still need to be addressed. Davis himself has admitted that the weight of everything surrounding boxing has become overwhelming. After years of setbacks and non-stop scrutiny, he now believes walking away is the best path toward finding balance and peace.
Gotten bonded out of jail, although the details of his bond have yet to come out. At this point, it seems like every couple years Tank has some sort of similar run-in with the law. His last major run-in came in December of 2022, where he was arrested for allegedly striking a woman with a closed hand type slap, although these charges were later dropped. But I'm not an expert on any of this, and I'm not really here to discuss details of a DV case. I'll let the courts do that. The question I think I can better speculate on is how this will impact his career. Now, his legal troubles in the past haven't done much to slow him down, so will this time be any different? To answer it in a single word, maybe. Now, Gervonta Davis is undeniably one of the biggest names in the sport, and because of the money he generates when he fights, really no matter what he does, it's hard for him not to find opportunity.
Ironically, despite previously indicating that 2025 could be his final year in boxing, there were still several blockbuster matchups that fans hoped to see. A second fight with Lamont Roach remained one of the most anticipated possibilities, along with other major opportunities that could have further strengthened his legacy. But given Davis's current mindset and recent developments, those dream fights now appear increasingly uncertain, leaving many supporters wondering if they've already seen the final chapter of his career.
I think he turned up 4 or 5 hours late. No Calvin Ford, his trainer. No Leonard Ellaby. He turned up by himself. And then he went on to say 2025 will be his last year in the sport. He wants to get therapy, and he feels like he can't get therapy unless he leaves the sport of boxing. He's got young kids, and he wants to be the best father he can for those kids. And if he continues fighting, then the therapy won't work. Kind of made sense.
That's all for today's update. Let us know what you think in the comments. Do you believe Gervonta Davis will eventually return to boxing, or has he truly fought his final fight? If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest boxing news and analysis. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.